Thanks for your overview of the Keep Washington Working Act. Uh, as I'm sure you know, your office was copied on it. Uh, a couple of months ago, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi sent a letter to Mr. Ferguson, and Mr. Brown was copied on that letter, in which she identified the Keep Washington Working Act specifically as something that contravenes federal immigration law and the enforcement of federal immigration law. And in the letter, Attorney General Bondi outlined various reactions that the federal government may have in response to the state's attempts at enforcing a law that is in conflict with federal law. And I'm glad you mentioned trying to coordinate these different levels of compliance, because clearly that's important. One of the responses that Attorney General Bondi outlined in her letter was that the federal government may withhold certain monies to the state government if the state government enforces the Keep Washington Working Act, which contravenes federal law on immigration policy. You mentioned that KWW itself says that if there's the risk of federal funds being withheld, that information can be shared. Do you believe that that is a window to compliance with federal law and therefore avoiding the kinds of repercussions that U.S. Attorney General Bondi outlined in her letter to your boss and to the governor?
So it's really going to depend on any particular set of funding and program. One of the things that Keep Washington Working is very clear about is if it's necessary. And so that's a question always, is for this program is what is necessary. Something that the state has been very clear about is we will follow the law. And we've stood behind Keep Washington Working in lawsuits with the federal government, this current administration and last time around, to support Keep Washington Working. We do not believe that it violates federal law, and so we don't agree with what's been said on otherwise. And so in terms of, funding, last time around, we did have to file lawsuits to protect our funding. And we've done that again this time around too. So again, it's going to depend on what the requirements are and how it all applies, but we will be advising the state and bringing lawsuits and defending lawsuits based on law.
I see your hand, Brett Walsh.
Quick follow-up, Madam Chair. I promise we'll be quick.
Okay.
Amongst the other possible responses that Attorney General Bondi raised in her letter to the governor and your boss were civil actions from the U.S. Department of Justice against the state of Washington, and even criminal charges against individual elected officials who contravene federal immigration law. What is your office's opinion of the likelihood of those civil actions and possibly criminal actions against public officials who refuse to recognize or enforce federal immigration law?
So I can't provide you with a legal opinion on the likelihood of that. But we've seen these letters. We've considered what our options are, what any of our state representatives, whether they're an officer of an agency or legislature, in terms of what those legal options would be in defending, as long as that they're following the law.